Warning, what you're about to see is a cryptographic tautology of real-life morphology, discriptination.
Saw it from the beginning already in February.
When y'all saying my name, put some respect on it.
From day one, I said, this is a pandemic, mainly because, of course, I have a background in the sense that I looked for all the previous fake pandemics like, SARS-CoV-1 or HIV and so forth, where, no virus has ever been isolated and no virus has ever been shown to be pathogenic. And so I had already this background, which put me into a position of saying, I don't trust this, I don't believe this. And the first thing I did, I actually went to look for the first Chinese study from the CDC, CCDC, the Chinese Center for Disease Control, published under the name ZOO and others, which was the first supposed isolation of the SARS-CoV-2, and of course immediately found incredible discrepancies and a methodology that didn't isolate anything. So essentially, what I found was that they were taking the liquid from patients, and they were maybe centrifuging them or filtering them, but I made a calculation that in the 15 micrograms that they were using to do the test, they were still like about 30 billion particles, virus-like particles, of which 85 to 95% of human origin, human genetic origin, and they would take this very heterogeneous material and put it into a culture, and then they would say that that was the isolated virus, which of course didn't make any sense, and that was the first criticism that I published about this study. Then there was the second one that was absolutely ridiculous about the German Drosten paper, claimed that they actually had fulfilled the Koch's postulate, right? Koch's postulates are the fundamental principles of microbiology. Of course, these principles are fulfilled in microbiology, by the way. But these guys, Bao and others, Chinese group, claimed that they had fulfilled this with this presumed SARS-CoV-2. And of course, again, it was pretty much crap in the sense that they took the isolated virus from the ZOO group, the article I mentioned before, and they injected it into mice, two groups of mice. One was normal wild mice, another one was genetically modified mice to produce more of these ACE2, this enzyme. But essentially, what it was is when they injected this material into the wild mice, nothing happened, meaning zero effect. They had some very light effect, like the fur, a little different temporarily, but only in the genetically modified mice. And in the article I published, I showed that actually whatever effect was there could have been they lost, like for instance, a little weight for a week. They could be all related to the fact that these genetically modified mice actually produced more of this enzyme, which is a proteolytic enzyme, and so actually can accelerate metabolism and can help you actually lose weight. So, but essentially, zero effect on normal mice, which means, but this for them was the proof that the actual virus, this heterogeneous material, was actually pathogenic. So,
Trump
Here,
so
Cardi.
much.
Jesus Christ. Please.
I got a jacket.
April HIV and AIDS thing, April 23rd, 1984, before any scientist or anybody else in the world,
Put some respect on my name.
if you speak out or against government or institutional dogma, you will be punished. With lots of other materials that we don't know anything about that have been alluded to, for example, like nanoparticles, which can be very, very dangerous. They can be carcinogenic for a fact. They're on about the same scale as asbestos, which causes cancer.
Sequences which they found in their dying cells and add them up in mentally using programs
Nigga, when my name come up, respect it.
and add them up to a given sequence. And this is called alignment. So they align very short pieces to a big one. Then they find, 50% is missing. Well, but at this place, the protein look like this. And if the protein should be like this, the genetic sequence has to be like this. And they make the gap filling. They call it like this. And then at the end, you have a mental construct which has no base in reality. No base. It's just an idealistic model.
So how can they do that? Is there a computer program?
Yeah, before when they got the sequence, start to sequence, they wrote down the sequence on paper, by hand.
I'm glad you tell me why nigga don't feature you, bro. Why nigga do a feature with you, bro? You be with some nigga who tall on me, bro, but you talking about you fuck with me, bro.
And they did the alignment with hand, really, and it took them along. And now they're doing it with computer programs. One name, it's Megahit, Trinity, it's another name of those programs. Out of millions of very short molecules, they add up and try to fit where this short piece, this puzzle, is fitting to the given picture, to the genome. And it's a mental construct, and you have just to read it, and then you see, it's called alignment.
actually, see, it's even so kind of funny that nobody says anything.
Realistically, if you're going to describe the genome of an organism, you need to have it in pure form. So say we were wanting to check your genome, we'd have to make sure the sample came from inside you, so like a blood test or something like that. Whereas with viruses, they don't do that at all. They just have these mixed cell cultures, which have all kinds of things in them. And from that kind of crude mixture, so they might take something like a sample from the lung, which is going to have a whole lot of human genetic material. It's going to have a whole lot of bacterial, potential fungal genetic material. Could have genetic material that you've just inhaled recently because it's so tiny, it's easy to pass around. And from that crude specimen, they start to, initially they just blind sequence it, so they just see what sequences they can find.
I'm from the 5, middle fingers on Z, dirty land, dirty stick, bad bitches get put a nigga on the list.
There is no real debate. There are things that have been demonstrated in controlled experiments, and there are liars. Some of the people writing down the information from the experiments may have been lying. And then there are just people arguing, saying that they are right because they feel that they are right. They have a lot of friends that agree with them. Perhaps they believe the same thing that the majority of the world believes. Perhaps there's a couple of books next to them or something. If you can just actually say, what actually do you know that has been demonstrated in real life, like in experiments, etc., and then try to differentiate between that and what you believe. And we'll just start there. Disease science, vaccination. I've basically showcased everything I've found in this topic as far as what has been demonstrated in reality. You want to talk about my beliefs? You want to talk about my disbeliefs? The prominent ones, i.e. the ones that most people believe on Earth right now. Ooh.
Come in.
Yeah, I'm here, motherfucker. What's good? What you know about 4-foot clay horse?
Yeah, motherfucker, I'm trying to make this cake, but shit's rough nowadays. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.